Okay, here's part two. If you were around for part one, oh, I couldn't finish this. I went for a walk up in the woods, my usual walking place, calmadoed out a little. My new word, calmado. So let's see if I can get through it this time. His eye is on the sparrow. This is the reading, um, the story behind this hymn. Okay, so Sevilla D. Martin wrote the words, and Charles H. Gabriel wrote the tune for it. And here are the words for this song. Why should I feel discouraged? Why should the shadows come? Why should my heart be lonely and long for heaven and home when Jesus is my portion, my constant friend is he. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. Whenever I am tempted, whenever clouds arise, when song gives place to sighing, when hope within me dies, I draw the closer to him, my care he sets me free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. So, and here's back to the story behind the song. 1905. Are not two sparrows sold for a copper coin, and not one of them falls to the ground apart from your Father's will? Matthew 10:29. Most people have a hobby of some sort to provide a healthy diversion from rigors of work. Long ago, there was a woodworker in Nazareth who counted bird watching among his diversions. We can make that assumption because Jesus later referred frequently to bird life in his sermons, saying things like, are not two sparrows sold for a copper coin, and not one of them falls to the ground apart from your Father's will? Matthew 10:29. Now, that I just want to add a little aside on that one. I want to talk a little bit about the dichotomy. I mean, maybe even just in the description, because I got to look up more and think about what I think about. That poor bird I found, he was dead. But it doesn't mean that God saved him from his dying there. But he showed me him, and it was like Jesus knows. Jesus saw him fall. Right where he fell. He could have fallen in the woods. He fell right there on the road. My dog changed the path. He was going 180 degrees the other direction, and he bullied his way, changed direction 180 degrees, turned back, and like 10 feet later, we came upon this bird. And I moved him out of the way because I didn't want him to get run over, because we were close to woods on all sides, but yet he fell in the parking lot, and I didn't want a vehicle to drive on top of him. So I put him up on a boulder there so the lawnmower wouldn't run over him either. And when I picked him up, he wasn't stiff. He was so tiny and delicate, and he was like plump feeling and flexible. He was totally flexible, so he must have just died. And God knew I was the only one that was going to walk and come across him there. And we completely changed direction to come across him. And my dog had to pull me in that direction to go that way. And he wasn't interested in eating him or anything like that. But we were destined to, like, God directed us to come across him there. So that's how this whole thing came about. And that's why I'm so emotionally attached to this thing, I think. Besides feeling despair right now, we're waiting, and we're seeing all these threats around us coming closer and closer. We're hearing the enemy's horses, the chariot horses, shaking the earth like thunder. I've heard big horses running, and they shake the earth like thunder. They're shaking it right now, the enemy's horses. So I'm going to continue on here. So look at the birds of the air, for they neither sow nor reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they? And thinking of all the threats that are around, they're going to steal our money. They're stealing our wealth. They're stealing our savings. They're keeping us from working. Of course, retired people, you get to the point where you're so old, good employers don't hire you anymore. And who wants to go? You've saved all of that money so that you could retire and everything else. You know what I'm saying? So we're still, God knows this. God sees us. God sees us. And he's going to provide somehow, even though we don't know how. But if we ask for bread, will he give us a stone? I know I wouldn't give my grandsons stones, or my sons. I'd give them the best thing for them. Oh, and I better not get myself going too much again, or I won't. I gotta laugh. I still won't make it through the reading. So let's continue on. Let me shut myself down here. Consider the ravens. In Luke 12:26, he writes about birds there too. Do not fear. You are of more value than many sparrows. Luke 12:7. It was this theme that caused the author of God Will Take Care of You to write a year later, another great hymn on God's care. His Eye is on the Sparrow. Sibylla Durfee Martin was a Canadian by birth, born on August 21st, 1869. In Nova Scotia, she became a school and music teacher, but when she married Dr. Walter Martin, an evangelist, she gave up teaching to travel with him and assist in his meetings. This is her account of writing this song. Early in the spring of 1905, my husband and I were sojourning in Elmira, New York. We contracted a deep friendship for a couple by the name of Mr. and Mrs. Doolittle, and I kind of think of the little, the movie, the Dr. Doolittle talking to the animals. But it doesn't appear to be any association with the story here. Okay. True saints of God. Mrs. Doolittle had been bedridden for nigh 20 years. Her husband was incurable cripple who had to propel himself to and from his business in a wheelchair. Despite their afflictions, they lived happy Christian lives, bringing inspiration and comfort to all who knew them. One day while we were visiting with the Doolittles, my husband commented on their bright hopefulness and asked them for the secret of it. Mrs. Doolittle's reply was simple. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. Oh boy, that's getting to me too. Okay, the beauty of this simple expression of boundless faith gripped the hearts and fired the imagination of Dr. Martin and me. The hymn, His Eye is on the Sparrow, was the outcome of that experience. The day after writing this song, she mailed it to the famous gospel composer Charles Gabriel, who penned the music. So that's a pretty interesting story. But, okay, I'm going to try to calm myself down from that. That was a good story. Okay. In my just kind of only sight reading, pretty much presentation of this song, I want to remind you to look at my my inspirations in my playlist there, and there's a lady called Piano with Joy. She is beautiful, plays this exquisitely, doesn't talk. She doesn't talk at all. She gets right to the song and plays it through just beautifully on a big grand piano. It's awesome. She's only got like 102 or 105 subscribers, so go check her out. She's got a lot of good songs, and her videography is very professional, not just handheld. I'm zooming in and doing weird stuff, putting my earphones on my phone and stuff like that to make things go. So give her a watch, give her a like or whatever, She's does a beautiful job. Piano with Joy. But this song, I didn't give it credit for how good the chording is in here. But one thing, since we might as well learn something a little more about digital pianos, my piano is just a basic piano, and normally I will most often choose both. You can hit two keys at once. I usually use let's use these two fingers, piano 1 and piano 2. I hit those together and choose that sounding right there. And the way this sounds, and I'm going to go to a spot in here because I want to be where there's higher notes, because it'll show you why I picked a different sounding for this one. But so I will go right here. I'm going to play this. And my husband is sleeping, so I gotta not have this piano up loud. Sorry for the snorkage. Oh my goodness. Here. So, right in this section here, it has intermittent high sounds in here. So, you're playing along here. Oh, I'm shaking this again. And I want to show you why I chose to play it differently. So, what I chose was electric piano combined with grand piano 1. Now, I'll show you what electric piano by itself sounds like. What I found with electric piano is it's kind of muted. Kind of has a muted sound, so it doesn't have a nice clarity when you're playing these lower notes, or the more in the regular ranges here. In the regular ranges in here, when you get to the high notes, it gives a bell tone. Or so if you're playing, want it to sound a little starry, twinkling sounds, I like using this electric piano for these up way high registers on here. So on this one, you can hear the difference. And when I do this, see I'm playing here. And it holds sostenuto on here. I just have to hit it like this. I don't have to keep my hand on it. I am stepping on the pedal. But it gives a very bell ringing, and I like the sostenuto part of it. So, but I don't like the muted sound here with it just being electric piano. So what I do is I combine it with grand piano, and here's how it sounds differently. Okay. So you got some more clarity with the lower notes, or regular notes, and those high notes, bing, up there, they ping, ping, and sustain. So that's why I came across that. So what I wanted to say, this is a basic piano, and I haven't found, I know I must have a book on it somewhere, but I haven't looked at that book probably since I bought this, which was eons ago. And I just try stuff. I combine stuff, and sometimes I combine it with this function key, and sometimes it seems clear when I do that. I don't know why. But if you got a piano, just try stuff with it. Try different things. You don't have to even look it up. Just experiment. Do little experimentations with stuff, trying these different settings. And I worked, my career was always working with computers. I was a CAD drafter, and I worked in information systems, and I could always become very proficient at any softwares that I was working with. And the reason that was because I tried everything on the menu. I'd go through all the menus, try all the options, try all the tools, try combinations of tools, trying stuff. I couldn't stop myself from trying all that stuff. And then I become very like the guru on that software. So do that with your piano. Try different stuff. Just a little something different. Something. And then beyond that, this song is very nicely written. It has a lot of, it gives a melancholy feel to it, and it has a lot, it throws in, it's written in D flat major, but it throws like G flat minor in here. It throws some minor chords in instead of major chords. So if you're listening throughout it, I won't go through, I don't think I'll go through and should have marked the sections that I wanted to show you guys. Here, let's see. I'll start at the top here. This is straightforward in D flat major. And it throws in right here, it throws in A flat minor, because major would be here. Oh, A flat major. Here it shows lower that third chord, minor. So it's throwing a minor chord in right here. Ooh, and that adds a little tension. Boom. And this D kind of rounds it out a little. And then we're on to the next line. Switching between showing the music in my hand. My dog wants me to sit down by him. And we're throwing this minor in here again. Instead, this is G flat minor, major, and it makes it minor. Ooh, I just love how it adds that. And that is, wait, where am I? Oh, I lost my place. Here I go. I shouldn't talk. Okay, right here. Here, let's start from this one here. Okay, and this is another, this is F, major and minor. This is an interesting chord right here, because the left hand is playing like this. And essentially what you're playing, I'm talking about this chord right here. Essentially what you're playing is, if you notice, your top finger is A flat, your bottom finger is A natural. And basically, these two, that's what these two sound like when they're right next to each other, but it adds that little, intrigue. Ooh. Okay, and then we continue. Ooh. It just adds that little melancholiness to it. And then here we go again. This chord does it again. It does it twice. And then we're down here. It's got a lot of dissonant and release, or minor and back to the major. It moves it forward. I just love the chording in here. It gives it a lot of feeling, I think. So just a couple little things to point out about this song. And I think that's all I have to say about it. If I come up with anything more, I will put it in the description. So I was checking my descriptions, hit that little arrow down, that little arrow down next to the title, and you'll get into the description of the video. Thanks for putting up with my emotionality around this song. Thanks, guys. Bye.